This is All Things Cheryl. One day before my birthday, I was born October the 21st, 1953. So I'm a part of the baby boomer. But tomorrow is my birthday and I'm basically going to turn it up. But right now I'm here to do the review of episode 12 in season 2 of Queen Sugar. Apparently it seems that Charlie is having difficulties in finding a perfect spot for crowning of brown sugar. One reason why is because Sam DeLandre, they are basically making it very, very difficult for Charlie to do or to bring back the brown sugar festival for the parish for the people of color. And we find out that the land is that she had basically was supposed to be having the affair. The guy reneged, I guess, on his contract. And you see the guy, Sam Lambert, and the guy who she was supposed to be having the festival with, basically came with Sam. And she was very, very upset, and she should have been upset. It's because for some reason, and we know basically what the reason is. We know that Sam Lambert, my sinuses, is a prejudiced person. Okay, he's very prejudiced. He really doesn't want her to do anything that's going to uplift the community. He basically wants everybody to basically be under his watch and everything. And let me tell you, he did everything that he could. Alright, he did everything that he could to basically stop this festival from happening, but he did not succeed in. And so therefore the festival went on, but we're going to get into a little bit more what Mr. Sam did. And we see that Davis seems like he's going to have some difficulties, guys. It's because one reason why he's going to have some difficulties is because he's at the doctor's office, and apparently there is some issues that's going on with his wrist. It seems that he's been injured, and it seems that he is going to have to go and to basically have surgery on his wrist. And so while he was having this conversation, the doctors basically told him that you're getting much older, so you're not going to heal as quickly as you normally would have done, you know, if you was like maybe 30 or maybe, I would say in your early 20s or 30. It's going to take you a little longer to heal. And so Davis basically asked the doctors exactly, you know, how long is it going to be? And the doctors told him it's going to be anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, that's a long time. It looks like he's going to be out for the season. We really, really don't know exactly how long this is going to be going on. In the meantime, basically what Davis did is that we know that back in the earlier episodes that Davis had met a singer. And apparently this particular singer has been contacting Davis, but really Davis didn't really pick up the phone because the singer was basically checking on him to see exactly what was going on with him, but Davis wasn't really picking up the phone. What he did do is that he tried to call Charlie, and he wanted Charlie to know exactly what was going on when it came to the doctors and everything. But apparently, Charlie wasn't really answering her phone because she was basically out with Remy, because her and Remy was surveying land for them to get ready to do their bringing the brown sugar brown sugar festival back to the parish. So therefore, Charlie does not know what's basically going on with Davis, and so we head on and we find out that Ralph Angel and Dollar, what Ralph Angel and Dollar did is that basically they went to the courthouse and they filed to get married. And of course, you have 30 days to file, and I guess to get married. I really didn't know that they give you a particular time to get married, but apparently they got the temporary marriage certificate, and so Dollar and Ralph Angel is getting ready to get married. So basically, they went to visit Aunt Vi to let Annie know exactly what's going on and that they have their marriage certificate. So Aunt Vi was telling them, said, well, I know you guys are going to have a wedding. So Ralph Angel and Dollar was saying that no, what we basically is going to do is that we're going to have a court, we're going to go to the justice of the peace, we're going to go to the courthouse. So apparently Aunt Vi wasn't really too happy about, that the fact that they decided that they wanted to, instead of having a lavish wedding, that they were going to the courthouse. Well, Vi tells Dollar and tells Ralph Angel that basically if you decided that you want to change your mind, you can always come back to me and, we can make this happen. And so basically everything was, they said, okay, we'll take you up on that, but right now what it seems that we're going to do the justice of the peace. And so the main time we finding out that Sam Landry, he's doing everything that he can to stop this festival from happening. Now we see that Remy and Charlie is basically at the mill trying to figure out, where they're going to be able to hold their festival. So Remy was able to contact, I guess, a church. It seems like a church. He was able to get a church, and they said that the spot was available to do it and everything. And so basically, they thought that they had the spot, but apparently they did have the spot. It's because Sam, here go the old guy again, the old wrinkly guy who want to control everything. The church called back. And basically, the church backed out. They said, well, I'm sorry, we can't do it. So apparently it had some issues to go on to deal with the insurance that the church, in terms of covering the church and everything. And so Charlie was saying earlier, while they found out that the first land that they were supposed to be having the festival, she says, I don't know why this man is trying to basically stop me from doing this festival, but guess what? The show is still going on. They're not going to stop me. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and we're going to have this festival. And so apparently what had happened was that we see Charlie and we see Remy. Charlie and Remy was getting ready to basically, do their thing. And I said to myself, all right, Remy's finally getting ready to get a little taste of Charlie Lolly. But apparently not so. What happened was Davis and Micah came in and they interrupted that. They, as the kids would say, they were blocking from Remy and Charlie from, going to the next level. And so while they were going to, while Davis and Michael was in the apartment, that's when Charlie and them found out that once again Sam Landry got in the way again. And so I believe it was either Davis. Yeah, it was Davis. It was Davis telling Charlie, saying that, well, you know what? Basically, why would you, I don't know, was it Charlie or any, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, Davis came to the rescue of Charlie, telling Charlie to, why don't you just basically cut back, not really do exactly, try to have a festival like the Landry do, and just go ahead and do the festival of the people. And so basically they said, well, why don't you, instead of trying to basically have it, we could ask Aunt Vi to see whether or not if we can have it at the farm, But Remy and Remy said, no, you can't really have it at the farm. It's because we're getting ready to do, we're getting ready for, crop. We're getting ready to plant, to plant for the next season and everything. So we can't do it there. We can't do it on the farm where Ralph Angel is, because we're getting ready to, plant for the next season. And so I believe it was either Davis or Remy, I'm not quite sure, said, well, why don't we have it at the mill? And so they basically, to make the long story short, they basically had the festival at the mill. But prior before that, we see a scene where we see Prosper and Ralph Angel. And Prosper was basically sitting down with Ralph Angel and basically telling Ralph Angel, says, look, when it comes to your first year of farming and everything, you broke even. And you know what? Ralph Angel, it's really getting on my nerves. It's because he's the typical millennium child. He does not want things to come slow. He wants things to come rapidly. He wants things like instantly. He was saying breaking even though Ralph Angel, it seems like there was a lot of money. They made a lot of money, but yet and at the same time, they had a lot of expenses and stuff that they had to take care of. And that's basically what Prosper was telling Ralph Angel. He says, look, for your first year of farming, you did great. You broke even. And basically, breaking even, especially when you're a first-time business person, whenever you have a business and everything, the first 7 years, you are not going to make a profit. If you're breaking even, you're doing good for your first year. You're breaking even, so that means that, you're not really losing any money, but you're not really gaining any money. You're just like right there, you're like balanced. But being a millennium, and that's one reason why we have Instagram and Snapchat and the social media, because of you millennium people. And which some things is pretty good. It's good to get it quick, but sometimes it's not good to get it quick, because you kind of sort of want to take your time when you're first starting out the business, because you want your business to grow. But no, Ralph Angel, he wants the money now. He want it quick. He don't want to wait. He want it, like instantly. So I'm like, true, Ralph Angel, you need to slow your roll. Because number one, you ain't got no money. But you breaking even, which basically that's good. You're breaking even. So, chill with it. And so we go on and we go on to the fact that we see that Nova and Dr. Duval, Robert Duval, was basically getting ready to do another, I'm going to say another quote-unquote a debate about the Zika virus. And so basically they were going back and forth as to, what they're going to be saying and everything. And so we find out that the doctor, Robert, and Nova were debating back and forth. But before they got onto the TV, before they went on TV, Robert basically had told Nova, he said, look, we're not even trending. Nobody is really, really going to look, we're not trending. In other words, nowadays, if you're not trending, which, if it's not a hot topic, and with everything being quick like that, and being able to turn in onto live or wherever they was, if you're not trendy, it's not a topic. It's nothing to be talked about. And so basically, to make a long story short, what Robert did is that he turned the game over. Instead of them kind of like piggying off of each other, he basically did the same thing. If you guys paid attention to the earliest, when Charlie went to the first symposium and she met Robert, remember, her and Robert was basically dealing the same thing. And yes, Robert did what you did was basically wrong. You should have let her know that you were going to change the game if it looks like it was going to get kind of boring and everything. But that's one thing that you did wrong. Writers, correct that. But even though Robin knew that, and so we see that they had a break, and then Nova just kind of like moved from the TV and went to Robin and said, look, you embarrassed me in front of national TV. And so basically Robin said, well, basically I had to do it. He said I had to do it because it was basically getting boring. I had to kind of sort of twist it. We're trending now. You know, basically people are listening. They're basically listening to the subject as Zika. Don't too many people know anything about the Zika, especially in the Ninth Ward. So I basically had to twist it and everything for them to pay attention to it. But nah. People, we said, what did we say? We said that Nova was going to screw this relationship up. Now, granted, what Robin did was wrong. Yeah, he sideswiped her and everything, and he didn't let her know what his next move was going to be. But Nova, you so quick of being scared of being controlled, because this is what your issues is. You have controlling issues, and you do not want anyone to basically control you, because yeah, you're a free spirit person, and that's cool and everything. I understand that and everything. Who don't want to be controlled? I have issues with controlling. When people look like they're going to try to control me, yeah, I'll back up. But then again, you got to realize that Robin does love you, and you know for a fact that Robin is your soulmate. You know that, and you're scared of it. Just like your mother was scared of your father. So therefore, even though you find out the reason why your mother and father didn't really, they got together a little bit too late, but they eventually got together. I'm telling you, don't do that. Nova, don't do it. You know, well, anyway, let me just go back. You know, I'm hopping on Nova because I'm kind of upset, because I was liking the vibe Robert and Noah was giving. I was feeling that vibe. I said, oh yeah, this is gonna be cool. This is Nova's soulmate, and Nova knows that, and she's basically scared. And yeah, Robin is trying to control her and everything, and I could basically, and trying to make her something that she's not really, you know, trying to, you know, mold her the way that he thinks that she should be. So I see on both sides there is some issues. So I'm like hopping on Nova a little bit. Okay, well, let's roll back over to Ralph Angel. Okay. What's happening is that they're at the parish, at the mill, and basically they are basically preparing to do the crowning of the sugar queen. And Ralph Angel is talking to Hollywood. And Ralph Angel is telling Hollywood that he wants Dollar to basically have, you know, this wedding, and he really can't afford it. And Dollar knows that that he can't afford it. And Hollywood is saying, look, I'm not really trying to tell you what to do, but if you want to marry this woman and you love her, you're going to have to do what you need to do, dude. You're going to have to get a second job to be able to support your family. You're already saying that the money that you breaking even, and you don't have money, and you don't have money, so what do? You get a second job. Come on, dude, get the second job. Do what you got to do. But nah, you know, Hollywood is saying, look, I got this number where this guy has a shrimp boat, and basically it's the night shift, and you can go and do your thing, you know, work at night, and make some extra money, so you'll be able to, you know, do what it is that you want to do until money start rolling in, dude. I mean, it reminds me of Greenlee and Jacob. Jacob didn't want to get a job in order to make the church move. You reminded me of Jacob. You don't want to get a second job to do what you need to do, and you expect to get the money in, but you don't want to do. Come on now. Get that second job and do what you need to do. Hollywood say, look, I'm going to give you the telephone number. It's really up to you. You do what you think you need to do. Other than that, I'm just going to kind of sort of leave it like it is. You know, I'm not going to even say anything. And so we go on to the fact that we see that the festival is going well. The festival is excellent and everything. And we see that Charlie is over there in the corner looking all smug at the face and everything. And so we see, Nova noticing Charlie's face and Remy and them. And so Remy and Nova said, well, what's going on you? Why your face looking all smug and everything? What's wrong with you? She was like all upset. It's because they didn't have the carousel, because apparently what had happened, Sam Landry again blocked it where they couldn't get their caterers and everything towards the mill so they could set up all of the volleyballs, all of the wheels and whatever that goes on at the festival. And Nova really said, like, you don't want to be like the Landry. It doesn't really matter if you didn't have all these floats and all of this and all of that. What really mattered was that you basically brought the community and everything together. And so that's basically what you should be, happy that the fact. You should be happy that the fact that people are having a good time and that they're enjoying themselves and one thing then to another. And so after Nova and Remy were to get Charlie to see that you've done a good job, then that's when they started dancing. So Remy took Charlie into it and said, move out the way, we get ready to dance and everything. And then basically we see that Nova, she was kind of like looking really sad and lonely due to the fact that, the doctor wasn't there. Robert wasn't there. The energy, the soulmate. She was sad. But then we see a scene where they was like at a table, and apparently they were serving. They were doing service, and we see Nova says, "May I serve you? May I help you?" And then she looked up and she see Robert. She says, "May I help you?" And then Robert basically said, "Yes. May I have one moment of your time, please?" Now remember, when Nova and Robert was in Atlanta, Nova kind of stormed off and told Robert that he was not coming back with her, and so she basically left him. Now remember earlier, Robert had gave her a necklace, a nice pearly necklace or whatever. She basically took that necklace off and said, "Here, I don't even want to be bothered with. I don't even want to see your face in the place." So basically, Robert and Nova had the conversation, and Nova was telling Robert, "Look, I don't need to be the face. I'm basically here in the Ninth Ward, basically, what I like doing." And this is where Robert made the mistake. And this is where Nova said, "Look, I'm out, I'm done, we're finished." He said, he told Nova, he says, "Do you want to be in the Ninth Ward forever? Don't you see yourself, higher than just hanging out in the Ninth Ward?" So that's where Nova went kind of ballistic. She was like, what are you saying? What are you trying to say? And so basically, to make a long story short, and we basically knew that Nova was going to mess this up. She found any excuse to basically said to Robert, "Look, we're done. We're through." And I don't think Robert is done, nor do I think Robert is through. Although in Nova's mind she is, because it's a similarity between Nova's mother and the relationship with Lauren, Charlie's mother. And we know from the clip that Calvin is coming back into the scene. And we know that Nova was in love with Calvin, but there were some issues and challenges with them. Racial issues and challenges with them. Now, I could feel Robert and Nova together. I really couldn't feel Calvin and Nova together, but Nova is going to have to find that out. And I think she's going to find that out. And I think just like she went back to get Robert, I don't know if Robert's going to come back to get her or they're going to come back to get each other, and they're going to come back and they're going to intertwine and realize that they need to be together because they are two different characters. And when you have two different people, you have yin and yang. You will have a dominant and you have a submissive. And apparently, Nova does not want to be a submissive character, and I can understand that. And Robert is dominant, and he is submissive in some things too, but I'm still hopping on Nova, as y'all can see. So we go on and we find out that the festival is a success, and of course we know that Kiki became the Queen Sugar Queen because she finally, became a queen. Although they said it was very, very kind of close, and I'm hoping that Michael did not, did some plagiarism. You know what I mean? To make the fact that Kiki became the queen. Excuse me. And so we go on and we find out, okay, the festival has ended and everything, and that it was a success. And that David was able to get, his girlfriend who he's been dating. We know that he's kind of probably hitting it, as they would say, the kids say, probably hitting it. So he was able to get her to come and sing, and he was able to get some of the people from the, some of the guys from the basketball, team to come. So basically it was a big success. And so Davis come in and said, well, look, I'm basically, on my way to California, and I've got some things I got to take care of and everything. And so basically Charlie said, okay, well, it's good and it's good. And so we find out that Davis told Charlie, said, you don't even care about me going to California and everything. And so Charlie was basically saying, no, not really. And so, but earlier going back to the festival, we know that Charlie basically gave Remy some heads up to let them know that if it wasn't for Remy, that the festival wouldn't able to, and along with Davis too, they wouldn't even had the festival. So basically what she did is like she basically kissed Remy in front of everybody, and even in front of Davis. And you saw that Davis' face was not having it. But Charlie was also feeling some kind of way too, especially when the singer was singing, and when she was singing, she was looking at Davis. And Davis really wasn't paying any attention because he was like looking at Charlie. And so Charlie basically kind of like, one hand washes the other. So she was like letting Davis, look, this Remy is the person, this is what's going on. And so we go back and we see that Davis tells Charlie, she said, well, really, it's really not none of my business and everything, what you do and everything. And she said, and she told David, she said, but really, who's the big deal? The big deal is Remy. In other words, Remy is a big deal to me, and basically I like Remy. And and then Remy Davis kind of looked and held his head down, and he was like, there wasn't really nothing he could do. And so what he basically did at the end of the thing, he told Charlie, he says, look, I'm very sorry in everything that I did. He said, basically, I'm sorry in everything that I did. And so, but before that, we had Dollar. I don't want to, leave her out. We have Dollar, and Auntie Vi had this little moment. And Dollar went to Auntie Vi and told Auntie Vi, said, like, my mom and father really didn't really deal with me for over a period of 6 years. And basically they are coming. And she said that they are coming, and she doesn't know. She was really up. She was like, she was excited, but then in another world, she wasn't excited because she don't know exactly, how her father is going to react. Being that her father is somewhat a controlling, addict and everything. And so basically everybody said, well, let me tell you a little story, about me meeting my husband. She said basically my husband hit me, and I found out that he, was an abuser. And basically I was upset because I kept going back, and I was upset what people were going to say about it. But basically I knew who I was. And so, make a long story short, everybody was saying, look, you did the best you can, and you're doing the best you can. And the best thing you can do is to let things go out of the past and move on with your future. And basically, that's basically what's going on with Davis and Charlie. Davis messed up. Charlie has moved on. She's interested in Remy. And we don't know exactly how that relationship is going to go. To make the long story short, Davis, you messed up. And Charlie has moved on. And that is my review and my recap of episode 12 and season 2. In the meantime, I would like for you to click, share, subscribe, and I'll come back to you next week. In the meantime, peace and love. And I was October the 21st, and I will be turning older. Until the meantime, me and my 1-2 said, ciao.